Thank you for having me.
You are an Afro-descendant. You are the founder of many organizations, of which the Organization of Human Rights Policy Officers and the Afrodescendant Union. Through these organizations, you set yourself some objectives: black people's sovereignty and self-determination. So could you tell us why so much commitment?
Yes, the number one objective of all oppressed people throughout history, even in the Bible, was to govern themselves. The children of Israel were told to take possession and govern themselves. That's self-determination. It's a natural inclination. So that's the number one founding principle of the United Nations. So all the nations of the world, the people have stood up and asserted their right of self-determination to govern themselves, besides a nation within a nation, which are black people in America. So I'm advocating for that human right for us to stand up and declare independence in America, and that would immediately get rid of the oppression that black people suffer in America. And worldwide, no one is, especially Africa, no one is practicing full self-determination, because in international law, self-determination means economic development, control over economic development. And no nation, especially in Africa, is in control of their economic development. They allow you to have political independence, but not economic independence. So the whole world must fully enjoy their self-determination.
Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching the news on the television of Burkina Faso. Welcome to this special program. Today, I'm receiving a guest, and with him, we are going to talk about the fight engaged by the AES countries. With him, Ramzu Yunus. Welcome, and thanks for coming.
Thank you for having me.
You are an Afro-descendant. You are the founder of many organizations, of which the Organization of Human Rights Policy Officers and the Afrodescendant Union. Through these organizations, you set yourself some objectives: black people's sovereignty and self-determination. So could you tell us why so much commitment?
Yes, the number one objective of all oppressed people throughout history, even in the Bible, was to govern themselves. The children of Israel were told to take possession and govern themselves. That's self-determination. It's a natural inclination. So that's the number one founding principle of the United Nations. So all the nations of the world, the people have stood up and asserted their right of self-determination to govern themselves, besides a nation within a nation, which are black people in America. So I'm advocating for that human right for us to stand up and declare independence in America, and that would immediately get rid of the oppression that black people suffer in America. And worldwide, no one is, especially Africa, no one is practicing full self-determination, because in international law, self-determination means economic development, control over economic development. And no nation, especially in Africa, is in control of their economic development. They allow you to have political independence, but not economic independence. So the whole world must fully enjoy their self-determination, and we're pushing for that worldwide, and definitely amongst us in America who have no self-determination, including political independence. We must assert that in order to enjoy full peace and multipolarism around the planet.
In the USA, black people continue experiencing racism and oppression from the white majority. USA is known to be a country of democracy, country of human rights. How can you explain this?
Well, that's a facade. Even the Bible says the devil will appear as an angel of light. So America wants to be this angel of human rights, but actually it's the biggest human rights violator on the planet. And they support the second human rights violator, being the state of Israel. But if America was to put on an image of human rights, then of course they have to respect our human rights. And the number one human right we're talking about is self-determination. According to human rights, America doesn't even exist anyway, because it's an illegal occupier. So they say human rights, but when the mirror of human rights is put against them, that's when they are in opposition.
Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali created the alliance of Sahel states, not only to combat terrorism, but also for the true independence, for self-determination. Do you share the vision of these two countries?
Well, that's the whole Pan-African vision. Of course, I share that vision. I want black people to be independent, not just us in America, but worldwide, especially in Africa, we must have full independence, full sovereignty, not just political sovereignty, economic control. And that's what the fight is all about. They don't care if Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso were exercising political independence, but once you destroy their economic control, that's when they worry. So of course, we stand with Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso in that full independence, full recognition of the right of self-determination.
So recently we've seen the accusation of American General Michael Langley against Captain Ibrahim Traore, the president of Faso. So how could you understand this behavior of an American officer and notably an Afro-descendant?
Well, you can easily understand it because we are a domesticated people, a captured people, don't have any power whatsoever. So naturally we want to, especially as a man, your nature demands some kind of power, but they control the power. So they can tell one of us who are slaves to say, we'll make you a house slave, a top level slave, if you do our bidding, if you speak for us, if you represent us, meaning the white majority instead of the black majority. So it's all a mindset that we've been groomed in America, an inferiority mindset, and also a mindset that we have to bow down to get what we want and even to get what we need. So he's of that mindset. If I want some power, if I want some money, even though I don't feel this way, I will say whatever the enemy wants me to say.
But we saw that on the 30th of April, 2025, a citizen watch association from Burkina and the Pan-African organization from many countries across the world, they organized demonstration in support of Captain Ibrahim Traore and the other AES member states leaders. So let me know the question. What are a leader of a CSO, CSO, as a leader of CSO, what will be the next? I'm sure that you supported the initiative.
Yes.
What will be the next step?
The next step will, first of all, continue the mobilization, but mobilization with an objective, like we will be doing again during Black Summer, starting on July the 4th. We hit the streets again, but this time we're hitting the streets again to declare full independence of black people in America and Africans on the continent. So we need to do that again on a large scale. The whole Africa needs to stand up and say, we declare our independence. We assert our right of self-determination. If the leaders don't agree with it, the presidents want to be puppets of the West, then they must go. We're standing up. Just like President Ibrahim Traore said, we're not taking power, we're fulfilling a void, because our presidents across Africa are not in power. It's still the West in power. They're just sitting on a seat. So we must stand up as the people with power and say, we declare our independence again, starting July the 4th, and have a People's African Union. And that African Union will be headed by President Ibrahim Traore and the Alliance of the Sahel.
Yeah, but talking about the demonstration on the 30th of April. Could you come back to this demonstration? Did you do something special in link with this demonstration?
Well, I was in Aswan, Egypt, but my comrades in America, they stood up, they marched, they protested. Some of them even visited the embassy in Washington, D.C. and stood out in front of the embassy of Burkina Faso in support of Traore. And many people across America did the same, many of my comrades. But fortunately, I was away because I'm doing something in Egypt, so I did not get to participate. But we want to do it again this summer. Stand up, independence, sovereignty to be respected for the Sahel states.
All right. So what would you like to tell the president, Captain Ibrahim Traore, and the other AES leaders?
Please unite with us. Hear our cries as well for unity with the Sahel states, Black Americans. We are a key part of this struggle against imperialism. We are in the #1 position to end imperialism. We are in what they call the belly of the beast. We are a Trojan horse. So once black people assert their full right of self-determination within America, then we have power in America, and America powers dwindle to keep on fueling this imperialist agenda. Because America is the #1 source of fuel for the imperialist agenda. And black people are the #1 position to stop that source from fueling imperialism.
So some said that terrorism that Sahel states are experiencing today is linked with imperialism. Do you share this view?
Of course it's linked with imperialism. First of all, the condition that influences some to even join a terrorist group because of poverty, that was caused by imperialism. And then imperialists actually outright just organize the terrorists to do what they do as well. And then they recruit from the poor. But if we end poverty with our initiatives of independence, of self-determination, then they won't have any motivation. If we stand up against the imperialists and cut off their source of power, then they won't be able to even fuel the terrorist group and organize those terrorist groups.
This afternoon, Captain Ibrahim Traore is presiding over the inauguration ceremony of Thomas Sankara Mausoleum. Do you have some comments in relation to this event?
It's about time something like that happened for Thomas Sankara. He's one of my biggest heroes, probably number 2 hero in Africa because of his principles that he had for Burkina Faso. So that's a great thing that he's doing. It's long overdue. We know that the president that was here, Blaise, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Compaoré, he was, one that had something to do with his demise. So now he's finally getting recognition. He's not just recognition, but President Traore is also representing those same principles. So that's symbolic what's going on today. What he's doing as far as a president in the struggle against imperialism, that's the real honor to Thomas Sankara. So we stand up and we support that. We applaud that honor to Thomas Sankara mostly.
So, but what would you like to tell the youth, African youth, the world youth in relation to what's going on in Burkina Faso?
Yeah, everybody, all the youth must stand up. The youth must stand up and join the revolution. So they can kill, as Fred Hampton used to say, who was assassinated by the American government, Black Panther leader. You can kill the revolutionary, but you can't kill the revolution.
Yeah.
So if more people stand up and be part of this revolution, it can't be killed. Yeah. You can try to assassinate our dear President Ibrahim Traore if you want to. You can't assassinate 2 billion Africans that stand up for the same revolution. So the youth have to put it in their mind that I'm Ibrahim Traore. You're Ibrahim Traore. We're all Ibrahim Traore. And now the revolution continues, regardless, for the next 100 years or 1,000 years. But we expect to end this revolution quickly this year.
Yeah. Thomas Sankara said it. If you kill Thomas Sankara, millions of Thomas Sankara will be born.
There it is.
So, do you think is this which is happening?
Yeah, that's what happened. They try it. Like right now, there's many Ibrahim Traores now, inspired by Ibrahim Traore. So do what you want to try it. We will rise up again as another Ibrahim Traore, but we're not even going to let you touch our brother in the first place.
You are planning to organize in next July an event in the U.S. What is it about?
Well, July the 4th, everywhere, the U.S. and in Africa. We want Africa to stand up as well. It's we call it Black Independence Day. Africans and African Americans, Afrodescendants must rise up, and we're declaring independence where we live in America, according to our right of self-determination. We can actually take over where we live. Donald Trump, United States government will have no power. It's called the right of self-determination. So we're organizing Black people to stand up everywhere across America and take political control over our communities, which is worth $15 trillion in real estate value alone. From that value, we have created a $1 trillion fund to finance the development of revolutionary Africa, beginning in Burkina Faso.
So we'll come back to Burkina. So you are saying that terrorism is linked with imperialism. Are you hopeful that terrorism can be fought down?
Oh, it can be eradicated immediately.
Yeah.
We have a plan. That's why I have to speak with your president and Minister of Defense, Intelligence, whatever necessary authorities. It can fall immediately. It's weak. It's just certain things holding it up that can be easily knocked down. And we will discuss that with your president, but it's over with for imperialism. We're putting a nail in that coffin.
We are getting too close to the end of this program. What do you think it's important, and you want to come back to it?
Yes. Well, self-determination. We got to realize that we're not enjoying self-determination. Realize we have that principle. Realize that unity is needed to enjoy full self-determination, and let's unite as a people. It's called Pan-Africanism. Unite as Africans. Unite as Africans at home and on the continent and abroad via our human right of self-determination. Let's stand for that with our life. The full meaning, which means all peoples have a right of self-determination. By virtue of that right, they freely determine their political status, and freely pursue their economic, social, and cultural development. We got the political status in Africa. We need the economic control in Africa and the political status in America. That's the message I'm giving out to the people. Stand up for your full self-determination, which includes reparation. France owes, Britain owes, but we have to stand up and take what is owed to us, just like they would do, via our right of self-determination.
Now, what's your call, your appeal to the youth or maybe?
Youth.
Yeah.
Join your patriotic organization. You have a patriotic organization. Join that. Organize to support the efforts of President Ibrahim Traore, the Sahel Alliance, and whatever revolutionary leadership exists throughout Africa. The youth, we must join and become united and organize together. That's my message.
So before we conclude this program, I will ask you, what's your final word?
My final word is, we love what the president is doing. We love you, President Ibrahim Traore. Continue to fight, continue to struggle. Let's unite and end imperialism forever.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
There's a rising tide of Pan-African consciousness and action today as African and Afro-descendant communities reject the old order of neocolonial control and outright oppression. From the streets of Ouagadougou to the neighborhoods of Detroit, Black people are asserting the fundamental human right of self-determination. As Brother Ramzu Yunus emphasized, self-determination is enshrined in international law. All peoples have a right of self-determination, by virtue of which they freely determine their political status and pursue their economic and cultural development. For Black Americans, a nation within a nation, this means declaring independence on their own terms. For African states, it means reclaiming real control over their economies, not just empty political sovereignty. In the US, the white supremacist system continues unabated. Black Americans are still vastly over-policed and disenfranchised. This systemic brutality exposes the hypocrisy of a regime that calls itself a democracy and champion of human rights. Meanwhile, in Africa, nominal independence is undercut by foreign control of natural resources and finance. A classical neocolonial trap described by Kwame Nkrumah and other revolutionaries. Brother Ramzu's call to action, that Black people worldwide must stand for full self-determination with our life. Post-colonial Africa has seen countless governments granted political independence but denied true freedom. Ramzu underscores the crucial distinction. An independent government does nothing if it lacks control over its economy. As he noted, no African nation today exercises full self-determination under international law. They have political independence, but no economic independence, because global capital and development aid tie them into exploitive structures. In practice, this means raw resources flow cheaply to Western firms, while profits leakage back to Europe and the US. Sub-Saharan Africa still exports roughly 3/4 of its output as unprocessed minerals and crops. Brother Ramzu's concluding appeal was clear. African and Afro-descendant youth must organize and join patriotic movements throughout Africa and in the diaspora. This is not idle rhetoric. In practice, it means building Black-led institutions, networks, and coalitions that transcend national borders. It means passing Sankara's books around dorm rooms in Lagos and Brooklyn. It means young workers in Johannesburg demanding African control over their factories, and students in Sao Paulo demanding Afro-Brazilian independence. It means Black Summer organizers in Chicago working in tandem with Burkinabe activists campaigning against imperialism. The revolution is spreading. Already Pan-African conferences are held, like the recent Niamey Summit of the Sahel states, where youth delegates carry Sankara flags and debate policy by day and organize protests by night. The Afro-optimism of old, that things will get better with time, is giving way to the militant realism, nothing will change without struggle. Across Africa, the old social fabrics are being rewoven. We see new patriotic youth groups in Cameroon, Nigeria, and Kenya that explicitly reject Western help in favor of mutual aid and local initiative. In the United States, Black Summers planners are recruiting in historically Black colleges, churches, and communities of faith, uniting people under the rallying cry of independence. The time is now. The signs of collapse in the imperial order are everywhere, from the eroded legitimacy of Western-backed rulers to the brash confidence of African leaders who no longer beg for crumbs. We must deepen our understanding of the geopolitical forces at play and simultaneously embolden action on the ground. The memory of Sankara and the momentum of today's uprisings tell us that change is possible. The suffering of our ancestors and the emptiness of Western promises tells us that is necessary. Let every African and Black person remember, all peoples have a right of self-determination, according to the International Covenant on Civil and Political Rights, and that right includes rewriting history with our own hands.